History is full of powerful names. Kings, conquerors, emperors. But what if I told you some of the people who shaped the world we live in today were women, and many of them were almost erased? This is not just history. This is her story. Let's start with a woman the world thinks it knows. Cleopatra. When people hear her name, they think of beauty, romance, and scandal. But Cleopatra was not remembered for what truly made her powerful: her mind. She spoke several languages. She ruled Egypt during one of its most dangerous periods. She negotiated directly with Rome, the most powerful empire on earth. Cleopatra didn't survive in a man's world by seduction. She survived by strategy. History reduced her to a love story because it was easier than admitting she outplayed some of the most powerful men of her time. Now, let's cross the ocean. Harriet Tubman. Born into slavery. Beaten. Dehumanized. Treated like property. She escaped. And that alone would have been enough. But Harriet Tubman did something extraordinary. She went back. Again. And again. And again. She led hundreds of enslaved people to freedom through the Underground Railroad. No weapons. No army. Just courage, faith, and an unbreakable spirit. Freedom wasn't enough for her if others were still chained. Next, a woman who changed the world quietly. In a laboratory. Marie Curie. At a time when women were barely allowed into universities, she entered science and rewrote it. She discovered radioactivity. Her work transformed medicine, cancer treatment, and physics itself. She became the first woman to win a Nobel Prize, and the only person in history to win Nobel Prizes in 2 different sciences. Marie Curie didn't just open doors for women in science, she broke the walls down. But for every woman history celebrates, there are many whose names were buried. Let me tell you about one of them. Asantewaa. In Ghana, during British colonization, when the men were hesitant and the land was being taken, one woman stood up. Asantewaa was a queen mother. And she did something unheard of. She led a war. Her words alone ignited resistance. She challenged the men, the colonizers, and the idea that leadership belonged only to one gender. She proved that courage does not ask permission. And then there is a name many people have never heard. Claudette Colvin. Before Rosa Parks. Before the history books made their choice. Claudette Colvin was just 15 years old when she refused to give up her seat on a bus in segregated America. She was arrested, dragged away, silenced. She didn't fit the image leaders wanted, so history moved on without her. But without Claudette Colvin, the civil rights movement would not have unfolded the way it did. History didn't forget her, it ignored her. These women lived in different times, different countries, different circumstances, but they shared something powerful. They stood when it was dangerous. They acted when silence was expected. They changed the world, whether history applauded them or not. And in part 2, we'll uncover more women whose stories were pushed into the shadows, but whose impact still echoes today. If this story moved you, don't keep it to yourself. Like this video, it helps more people see these stories. Subscribe for part 2, where we uncover even more women history tried to erase. And comment below, which woman's story stood out to you the most?